Okay. Well, I think you'll need to repeat your hilarious prank. Sorry, one second. Sorry about the delay, everyone. Internet in Australia, right? We've got some great service down here. So thanks for sticking with us. Let's get back to a lovely prank that is being held by that is being told by Magnus. Okay. I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say that. Okay, great. So deciding to head northeast. I'm just checking something with our audio at the moment. We have, I think, a bit of an issue with getting sound of you guys through. I think that my sound's coming through okay, but we may have some issue with player voices. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can rectify that.
Cut out, just fine.
What?
Okay, so
Whoa. Yeah,
can you guys
echo.
got your echo happening?
Echo.
Let's see if I do that and do this instead. Say. Nice.
Track that pterodactyl-like thing in the general store.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And they believe that
That's
if you were a
messy.
prehistoric bird, where would you be in a general store? And the guy's like, lingerie section. Really? Yes, lingerie.
Yep.
Okay. So, sound should be good on Twitch now, and I believe that we have lost Gabby, so the overlay's a little out. But as you guys begin heading northeast, you head up this corridor and see that once you get to the top, there is actually a doorway that heads south, but it seems like you've come up this incline quite a fair ways. I think I'll just wait to see if Gabs is going to get back online.
I'm just messaging her. Her computer crashed. She's coming back.
Oh, computer crashed. Okay. So, bear with us while the overlay is a little dodgy, but we're all down here in this tiny little screen. And if you... so everybody has come to the top of this hallway. What do you do once you're there?
Continue on.
Check the door for traps.
Sure. So roll an investigation check and let me know what you get.
Alright. 4.
4. Doesn't look like it's trapped. Like, I mean, you'd know if you ever saw something that was trapped. You don't see any, like, pieces of steel that would move if you were to open the door or push it open. It looks pretty much just like a basic stone door.
I open the door then.
Okay, cool. So, you can see that in front of you is another relatively small room that heads down another passage. And it looks as though this passage heads almost along where you had been going on the opposite, like in the hallway that you'd just come through, but instead of like it continues inclining, and you can see that there's a hall that just continues down through another section. It gets a little bit narrower, down to about 4 or 5 feet.
Can my
in some
horse fit
sections.
through?
Your horse would be able to fit through, but nothing would be able to get past it. That'd be the thing.
My horse is following me.
Okay, cool. So, Davos, horse, Nephirus, Magnus, and then what's the rest of the marching order? Got Falcor up there as well.
I don't know.
Which tunnel are we going down?
So you can see they went
One
Well,
northeast, and Syl has kind of taken the torch with him, so you should be able to see the torchlight.
Ah, I found you. Sorry, I tried to zoom out and I kept zooming in, and then I was freaking out.
I believe, just to fill you all in, we had like a lot of light going on, like a lot.
There is.
Although actually we did take a short rest, so
Yeah.
so at this moment we've just got like half an hour of torch left.
Yeah, I'd say half hour would probably be the limit of what you've got.
Oh, probably even like a little less. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, freak out, put on hold for 27 odd minutes.
Good.
Due to how successful I was checking the traps last time, I checked the traps again.
Okay, cool. So you go ahead and have a look through this door, begin opening it quite slowly. And as you do, you can see that there's a rather large room that opens up in front of you. It doesn't look like there's any traps here on the door, and so pressing it in, you can see that there's a relatively large room in front of you. And if you give me a second, I'll reveal that area to you so you can see what's going on. And you can see that you can see in the center of this room is a withered tree that looks like a leafless willow or something like that. A lot of the branches are like just hanging directly down. It's rooted in a terraced depression. So around the edges there's these like 5 feet areas of stone, and then it depresses down into like a hollow. You can see the bottom of this hollow is filled with oily water, and it's about a few inches deep. You can see across the room beyond the dead tree is another door. There's like two that look like they open there. And around the sides of the room, there's a 5-foot wide ledge that encircles the tree. The walls of the room are beaded with condensation, as though there's like breathing that has been happening that's restricted by the doors and not very much air coming through. So the tree is like giving off a lot of like water. But that's what you can see at the moment as you walk into this room.
Okay, I walk into the room and wait for everybody else to come in.
Okay, cool. So you're kind of standing there just looking around.
Can we follow? Let's follow.
Sure. You can follow.
Get out of the way, chumps.
Magnus would probably be very, very interested in this tree.
Cool. So as you step up, are you stepping up to like that area around the tree?
Yeah, just to the ledge right now. I'm not gonna step in as of yet, but I am taking a look at the tree.
Sure. So as you do that, go ahead and roll a nature check for me.
$16.
16. So you begin looking at this tree, and for a moment you do think that it is actually like a dead, wilted tree. And then you notice that near the center there's a whole heap of spines, like right near the middle of the, at the center of the tree here, that look like they're kind of like poking outwards. And just as you finish kind of looking at these spines, you can see that there is a one of the branches kind of twitches, and then you see a whole heap of tendrils from the bottom of it flying out directly towards you, and begin seeing all of the limbs beginning to animate. And right now,
Cool.
go ahead. That's gonna hit, which is I think it's a 19 to hit.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hit.
And if you can go ahead and roll a grapple saving throw, you see the limb kind of like reaches out and wraps around you and begins pulling you towards it. And so if you can make a either acrobatics, dexterity, or you can make a strength athletics saving save here.
Oh, how do I choose? I'm so great at both of those things.
I know. Just one would be fine.
That's a 15. They're the same, so it doesn't particularly matter. Let's say acrobatics.
Okay, cool. So as this begins to wrap around you, you manage to just, as it is pulling you towards it, you just manage to slide out of its grasp, and now just laying on your back, looking up at the creature prone, you can see that all of the limbs now are just kind of waving slowly. And right now, I would like everyone to roll initiative. And I'm going to fix that music so it doesn't sound like we're in a tavern.
Oh, I was wanting a beer.
This is the best tavern. The one with the flailing tree.
It's so
It's
nice.
called the Flailing Tree.
The Flailing Tree Tavern.
I guess the tavern closed down.
That's a 14 for me.
Okay, so 14, Magnus.
That is a 16 for me.
16 is Sylph.
9.
18 for moi.
18 for Co. Falcor?
13 for Falco. 13.
13, Falcor. A 9 for Magnus.
No, that was a 14 for me.
Oh, sorry, 9 for
That is
Davos.
9 for me.
Yeah, Davos was 9. Belle, what did you get?
That one.
Natural 1.
Getting all the good rolls out first.
Fantastic. And it almost dropped the d20, but it landed on
I
my
know!
chair's arm, and it's going to go right there. Okay, so that was part of its sneak attack. Oh, well, it's surprise round, I suppose. So if everyone could just make sure that they're in the room and place themselves where they would like to, preferably behind Magnus, as he was the first one to be attacked, then we can proceed, see what happens.
Let's do this.
I hate when he rolls like 20 dice.
Me?
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
I'm not rolling dice. I am
Yeah.
Just-
Liar!
I'm just waiting for people on the roll 20. So I think, Belle, you're the only one that needs to move your token.
Yeah.
But
Get
otherwise,
in there.
at the moment, Ko, you're standing near the doorway and can see that this creature is just beginning to like awaken. All of the limbs of this tree begin swaying and moving around, and it looks as though some of them are beginning to elongate. What are you doing?
How far do they elongate?
You can see that this creature, which is you'd say is large, is going to go ahead and it would be able to reach to pretty much the entire area around, like the 5 feet area around the creature that is made of stone.
Just looking. So like how far from me though?
10 feet. So if you got to the bottom of the stairway and then continued next to Magnus, you'd be within its range.
Okay, as it seems. Can I be stealthy?
What are you going to try and hide behind? The room's pretty bare.
Crap. Hide behind the forest.
Hide behind the horse. Okay, yeah, sure. Because you're a medium creature and it's a large creature, I'll let you go ahead and try and hide behind the horse.
Maths. 22.
22. Very good. You feel like you're pretty well hidden at the moment, and from just move yourself across.
I'm praying the forest doesn't fart or do a poo.
Sure thing. You're like right behind the horse.
They're very sulphurous.
The tail's kind of flicking you in the face. So that's like a bonus action for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to do?
Not for the moment, thank you.
Okay, cool. So that brings us to Syl. Syl, what are you wanting to do?
Yes. Well, I see a tree in front of me. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like a
Flailing
tree.
around a
It's
little
like
bit.
it's like almost like pale white, with a little bit of like brownish tinge near like the joints and stuff. But it's just beginning to move around, and it looks as though each of the branches is like an arm, and there's like 6 of them that could potentially
Whoa.
like grab onto something.
Wow. Could I try a little something? If there's one thing Syl knows, Syl's a real he's been in nature, man. He's lived in nature for decades. He knows how trees work inside and out. And if there's one thing he knows, it's that fire burns trees. And if there's another thing he knows, it's that oil also lights on fire. So, at this point, he's got a lit torch in one hand.
Yep.
I'd like Syl to reach into his pocket or onto his belt, where it would be, grab his flask of oil and throw it at the tree, and then follow that up with an extra attack of throwing the torch at where he throws the oil.
Yeah, cool. I'll let you do that. So go ahead and
Yes.
make a ranged attack for your oil to see that it hits.
Okay. Come on, oil. Oh, nat 20.
Yeah, sweet. So you notice that near the center of the creature is a whole heap of these tendrils that are like poking out, and you throw it straight for that, and it kind of smashes across, and you can see that there's this slick layer of oil that goes across the top of like that entire section. And you ready your torch.
Nice.
Go ahead and throw it.
Yes.
Just remember, cool guys don't look at explosions. You have to walk away.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know though. It's not going to explode. I got. Do I add my dex modifier to it because it's a throw?
Yeah, so you'd be probably not like improvised weapons proficient, but just add your dex modifier.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, I've got 15 plus 4 if you want to add dex, but
Cool. That's
up to you.
That's plenty to hit, so you can add dex for that. And what did you say? What did you say your total was?
Total. Wait, my total. Well, so 15 plus 4, 19.
19. Okay.
To
So
hit.
you can see that right now you throw the torch in, and it just lands like in a yoke of a branch just above the oil, and it's as though within
Nice.
within a turn or two, it's going to fall onto the oil. It takes a
Cool.
single point of bludgeoning damage from that, but you're not sure right now whether it is
Yes.
wedge or whether it is actually something you're going to need to throw to dislodge it. It hasn't quite gotten on target.
Right. Okay. So close. I guess that's all I get, unless I want to punch the thing. But I'm gonna hold off for now
Okay,
and stay standing where I am.
cool. Nice. Great. So Magnus comes to you. You're still within its range. What are you planning on doing?
So I'm like on the floor looking up at this mass of like tendrils and spines swarming over me. And I don't particularly like my situation right now, so I'm gonna do like and I'm gonna cast Blink.
Blink. Okay, cool. So you cast and let us know what happens.
Okay, so I think I've got to roll a d20, and if it's higher than 10, I bamf.
Yep. That sounds right.
Okay. I do not bamf.
Okay, so you cast this spell, and it kind of sticks to you. You see that Magnus kind of flickers for a second, and then nothing happens. He kind of just stays where he is.
Well, I'm going to use half my movement to stand up,
Yep.
and then I'm just gonna kind of chill out. Be like, okay, yep, here I am, tree.
Cool. Okay.
You're not gonna run away?
No, because I don't want to get attack of opportunity.
It's a fair point. Okay, so that's the
You
end
should have
of-
used your turn to disengage then.
So, Falcor, comes to your turn. You can see this creature just beginning to like stand and begin moving around. What are you planning on doing?
Is that fire happening yet, or are we still waiting for that? Sorry.
You can see the torch like sitting in like the yoke of a branch, and you're not sure if you'd need to like move it from where it is. It looks fairly like stuck, but it's sitting just above where all of the oil was that Sil threw before.
Would I be able to light an arrow on Ko's head and then launch it?
You have to get to me first.
5, 10,
Yeah,
15,
well, you're not that far away.
25. Yeah, you could reach Ko. You can barely see like the faintest amount of flame as you look around, and it's coming. Actually, roll a perception check for me, because Ko's kind of hidden amongst a fire horse right now.
Crap. 13.
You could definitely light the arrow off Nepharis, but you can't find Ko.
Nice. I will do that and light my arrow on fire.
Okay, cool. So it takes a second,
And-
it catches, and you turn around. Are you aiming for the oil in the center?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So let me know what your attack roll is.
13. That's 3 in a row.
So as you fire, You can see that the trunk of this, what you guys thought was a tree, shifts, and you see the arrow barely miss where all of the oil had splattered near the center of the creature. And so that it kind of hits the doors on the opposite side from, like, after you've taken your shot with your longbow and splinters. There's a couple of sparks and embers that fly off the door, but that first arrow doesn't hit.
I'd like to do second attack, please.
Cool.
Yeah. 13. What the fuck?
13. That also misses, unfortunately. So, as you take these two shots towards it and kind of standing around behind Davos, you wait for a moment as you see the creature beginning to stand and take its movement towards all of you. You can see that the creature, which I'm going to go ahead and represent with a very large circle, is going to go
Oh my
ahead.
god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at that
the side of a tree.
Look at the size of that circle.
Wow.
It's going to go ahead and move
My
5 feet this
God.
way, and then
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
another 5
Trees don't
feet
move.
that way.
Oh shit. Oh
You
shit.
see the roots kind of pull
Whoa.
up out of the ground, and it begins moving across the ground towards a whole heap of you. It's going to send 2 of its tendril attacks towards Nepharis.
No.
Oh, not the horsey.
My hiding
Not the horse.
place!
The
Not the horse
first,
that's on fire.
the first is a 10, and the second is a 19.
It needs armor class 11.
Armor class 11. So it grabs around with one of the tendrils and is going to go ahead and begin pulling Nepharis towards it. Manages to kind of like drag Nepharis along the ground. And if you could move Nepharis 1 square to the east, that would be good. The other 2 attacks it's going to make are one against Magnus, which is 9 plus 7, so that's 16.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so make a grapple check, either Dex or Strength. And
Oh yeah, yeah. That's not good. That's a 6.
Okay, so you are currently grappled, and you feel yourself being pulled up off of the ground. Davos, it is going to attack you with its second, and that's going to be a 17.
Whoa.
That's a miss.
That's a miss. Okay, so you manage to fend it off with the shield that you're holding, and it kind of wastes that that kind of grapple. Davos, it comes to your turn now. What would you like to do?
I like this fire thing.
Yep.
So I point at and cast Burning Hands.
Oh, cool. Okay. So you're keeping track of the amount of charges that the axe has, right?
Yeah. I've got 4 left. 4
Oh,
left.
cool. Okay. So you cast Burning Hands, and Burning Hands is a 15-foot cone, which is going to be essentially 1, 2, 3. You're going to have... You could probably angle it so that you don't get Nepharis, if you'd like.
And not get Magnus.
Yeah, you can avoid getting Magnus as well. You'd essentially have 3 squares directly in front of you, and then 3 on the diagonal. So Magnus is just outside of it.
Sweet. Okay, I do that.
Okay, cool. So Burning Hands is which save? I think it's a Dex save, right?
Let me just double check. Yeah, Dex save.
Okay, so Dexterity saving throw for the creature is obviously going to be amazing. That's a 7, which I'm sure does not save.
Nope.
So what is it? 3d6?
Yeah. That's a 1, a 2, and a 1.
So 4 fire damage.
So that's 4.
fantastic.
Ooh, does it give the oil?
It does, in fact. So at that
Yeah.
point, can you roll? Can you roll an additional 2d6?
That's another 7.
Another 7. So total of 11 points. Fantastic. So yeah, so you see the creature begin to like just be engulfed in this flame as Davos like points his axe out in front of him, and it creates this cone of fire, just kind of charring the edges of some of this creature's limbs, and as it's holding on to Nefaris and Magnus
I've got a
right
second
now.
attack.
Oh, cool. So go for it.
And my second attack is the same thing again.
Okay, cool. So you cast another Burning Hands.
Also, I enjoy the power of this act.
That's scary.
Actually, do I need to roll for it?
No, it's a spell. So it's essentially just an area of effect, and the creature needs to save, or it. Yeah. So you're doing the same thing again, and it needs to roll a Dex save, which is going to be 15.
The save DC is 14.
14. So it succeeds. So I think it takes half damage. So roll your 3d6 again, and we'll see.
So it's 10 divided by 5.
So it takes 5 damage. Nice. So
Does
after
it take
that,
any more? Already on fire.
yeah. So the oil does catch alight and kind of burns quite brightly, very quickly. And that 2d6 fire damage kind of it takes very like significantly right over this section, and you see all of the spines begin like moving around as though they're some kind of mouth. They like shriek back, and you can hear this ungodly like screech from the creature for a moment. And at that point in time, it comes to Belle, who is away from camera, but that's okay. We'll come back to her. At this point, Ko, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Yes. I would like to. Sorry, Kayla, don't eat that. Just trying to eat my dice. I would like to. She rolled a nat one. I would like to light one of my torches with juice flame.
Yep.
Sorry, and then I would like to throw it at the tree. You can't fit through there.
Okay, so you take your action to light the torch. So is produce flame a bonus, or is it a action?
Yeah, bonus because it's a cantrip, I thought.
No, so cantrips can be an action or a bonus. Where did I just put my handbook? Produce flame.
It's a race.
Produce.
Bayla's
flame.
stunting my race because she just is trying to eat everything in sight.
It says action.
Yeah, one action.
Okay.
Damn it, you beat me.
Damn. So it's going to take an action to use produce flame. Alternatively, you could probably light a torch off of your hair.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll chuck it at the middle of the tree.
Yeah, sure. So you go ahead.
And it's
Also
like
the tree
it's going to
is
be
on
this
fire.
torch flying out of Nefaris's bum or something. So it's going to
Yeah.
be super cool.
Okay, so you go ahead and throw this torch. Roll a dexterity throw for me, and because you're not proficient with improvised weapons, what'd you get?
That would be a 25.
25. Fantastic. You throw the torch.
I got a 19. I was like so close to a 20.
Cool. You throw the torch, and it hits the creature and does 1 bludgeoning damage. And then it knocks the other torch
Set
down
him
into
on
the creature's
fire?
mouth. The creature's already on fire, but you manage to dislodge that other torch.
Thanks, man.
That's okay.
I was trying to
It
be
this is kind of like Robin Hood Men in Tights, where they both get like the middle of the target.
Yeah.
This pushes arrow in twain.
You see both of the torches fall into like the flaming oil that's around this creature's mouth, and it just begins like chomping at both of them, and they kind of like splinter and begin falling apart.
Oh no!
Is it cannibalism if you're eating wood?
You have no idea.
Ooh.
So that's
It's cannibalism.
Is that
Hi,
your
Gabby.
tree?
Should we go back
It's
to
Gabby's turn.
yeah, we will.
Gabby?
So Belle, welcome back.
Yeah.
It is your turn.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, that was really good. Was it actually my turn? Or did you like skip a couple of people?
You were one behind, so that's all good. What would you like to do?
Cool.
We've all been
So,
trying to burn the tree because there's oil in it. And we all keep
Alright,
failing.
well, if I'm burning it, I should probably, if I'm doing...
But didn't I already burn the tree?
Yeah, it's on fire.
Yeah, the oil's on fire. It's like you're blazing near the center of this tree. There's a couple of sections that have been scorched. But if you were trying to like cause the tree to like become more on fire, you'd probably need to like throw oil at it or something.
What viscosity you need?
Yeah, I feel like trees can't really get sick. Like, they're not going to start throwing up.
You're not sure that it's a
Um,
tree though.
Like,
Trees don't usually like limbs around, and trees don't usually have mouths.
They do.
Actually,
they
roll
do
a-
in Harry Potter.
Roll a nature check for me, Belle.
Okay. "13.
13. You've actually heard of these creatures before. Usually more constricted to dungeons and caves. They are called ropers. They're a rather large creature that resembles some kind of inanimate object until prey comes near, and then sends out tendrils that will pull prey back towards it. So, if you would like to go ahead and take your action now, that's fine.
Alright, well, I'm gonna try and do... What am I gonna try? Ray of Sickness.
Okay, cool. So that's a ranged spell
So
attack.
that's a 2 anyway, so it's not gonna happen.
Okay, so
It was a strong 2.
strong 2. That's after your modifiers and everything. It doesn't matter.
No, I didn't even bother trying to do modifiers. I'm like, it's still not gonna be
This
enough.
isn't gonna hit. This isn't gonna hit. Okay, so after Bell, after Ko, Sil, comes to your turn. You can see that the oil has lit up and is burning in the center of this creature. What would you like to do?
Is there a part, like a solid part of it in front of me as I look at it that's not on fire yet?
Yeah, so it looks like it's actually just near the yoke of the tree that has this oil attached to it that is... Oh, well, I keep calling it a tree, but it is a roper. It's some kind of creature.
Yeah, sorry.
And no, that's all right. But you can see that it's not so much bark as it is like a very tough layer of skin. And there's flame that is mostly just due to the oil.
Right, so it doesn't look like the wood is catching or anything like that. It doesn't even look like wood.
Like the torches are probably alight at the moment. But yeah, the creature is flammable.
So there's... Right, good. Okay, I mean bad, but good because I'd like to run and jump at the creature.
Yep.
And with one attack, I'd like to throw a dart right into its face below me, like what looks like its face, the thing that's sort of chomping.
Yep.
So just like chuck a dart, and then finish it up with like 2 mighty kicks into like the center of it.
So you can see at the moment as well,
cool.
There's 2 tendrils that have, like one of them has Magnus is beginning to pull him up off the ground, and the other has Nepharis and is beginning to drag it towards it. So you can either attack the creature or attack one of the tendrils.
All right. I'm I'm going for the creature.
Cool.
Going for the big boy. Okay, so can I throw that dart?
Yep. So just make your attack roll with all your proficiency stuff like you usually would.
Cool. That is a 13 for the throw.
A 13 doesn't hit, unfortunately. You see
okay.
the dart is on target, is going for its mark, and then instead of sinking into the skin, it just kind of shims off and across onto the floor.
Okay. Alright, well I'm flying through the air, yes, and I'm gonna aim a big 1-2 sort of a kick as I kind of land and channel some ki into that baby.
Yep.
In a flurry of blows.
Nice.
Actually, I have an extra attack, so I'll go 3 kicks. Just
nice.
somehow. Okay. Just really fast, I guess. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure. You've got the attacks.
Alright. The first one is a 13.
That misses.
The second one is a 26. So that's a flurry of blows one.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then a 13, 20 on the next one, sorry.
And the 20 barely hits.
Alright, and I'd like you to make hang on a sec, a constitution saving throw. Wait, I'm trying to channel some ki into that bad boy with 2 of the strikes, one of them to stun it and one of them to forcibly push it away.
Ooh,
How's that
okay.
go? It works on any creature, apparently.
Any creature.
Well,
cool.
on a creature.
Yep. So that's, this is a creature.
Doesn't make it. Yeah, it doesn't
Cool.
have size limits on it, luckily.
Okay, so a constitution save.
Yep. And then
Okay, so the con save is an 8, which I'm sure fails.
fails, which means it's stunned until the end of my next turn.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And also a strength saving throw.
Okay. The strength saving throw, which I think because it's stunned, it should have disadvantage on, I believe.
They automatically failed. Hang on a sec.
Creature automatically fails strength and dex saves. Yep. So
Sick.
it
Okay.
doesn't need to make that
pushed
save.
15 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't because
Cool. So 15 feet.
So it's pushed 15 feet away in the, I guess it's the direction I'm attacking in.
Yeah. So I'd say that you just push it back across the room, and
Cool.
Magnus also goes 15 feet with it, as does Nefaris. So Nefaris, Davos, if you can move Nefaris, that'd be good.
Sure thing.
and-
Also, does Nefaris have a turn?
I'd imagine she goes on your turn, or you roll initiative for her separately. So at this point, I'll go ahead and put her just after you, and that
Sure
would
thing.
be, yeah.
Let's just say she was freaked out the first time.
Let's go with that. But yeah. Okay, so what's the actual damage on those strikes?
Oh shit! Yeah, it actually deals damage too. I forgot
Yeah,
that.
that'd be those.
Let's see. So I only hit with 2 of the kicks. So 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 6 plus 7, 13.
13, very nice.
And that's bludgeoning damage, but it can overcome magical resistance.
Cool. Okay, so you kick it backwards, and everyone sees at the moment that the creature has just completely stopped. It doesn't seem like anything is happening right now. Magnus, it is your turn. You are currently grappled, but you also cast Blink on yourself a short while ago. So at the beginning of your turn, if you could go ahead and roll a d20 for me. Let me know what you get.
That should be the end, right? I get an action first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. So your action you could probably use to try and remove yourself from this grapple.
I just want to attack, no, I'm just going to attack while he's got me.
Sure. So I'll say this is against one of the tendrils. So unless you're doing some kind of ranged attack.
I'm doing a spell.
Okay, cool. So, what would you like to do?
So it's Xanathar's Guide to Everything spell called Mind Spike. So he's going to need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so wisdom save. I rolled a 17 on the die, and that goes to a 20, so it does save.
Holy moly! Oh well, he still takes a buttload of damage. Well, a halved buttload of damage. Let
Okay.
me work out what a halved buttload is for you.
It's like one sheet.
It's like half a barrel, right? That's like the origins of buttload. It's like to do with wine measurement.
So it was 17 on the dice of
Okay.
psychic damage, so you can halve that
So-
wherever way you like.
I'll have it to 9 because I don't care about my monsters.
So he takes 9 psychic damage, and unfortunately it means I don't get to track his position no matter where he goes, but that's fine. He's pretty big. I can see him. Let's
Yeah.
see if I disappear.
Yep.
I do not disappear. This is the worst spell ever.
Why did I even do this? Okay, so after Magnus's turn, we come to Falcor. So Falcor, what would you like to do at the moment? You can see that it is currently stationary. It's not moving at all. All of its limbs have stopped, and it's no longer like retracting them, pulling people towards its center. What would you like to do?
I would like to fire another arrow at it, directly
Cool.
at its so-called face.
I'll give you
Rolling.
advantage on these, so you can roll the d20 twice and take the higher, because it is stunned.
I got 13 again.
13.
Fuck.
So roll that twice, so you can take advantage on these strikes.
Oh, thank God. 17.
So 17 misses, but you can take your second attack if you like.
Yes. 17. That's the new number.
All right. Both of those don't manage to like penetrate the skin on this creature. They do actually like shim off. Like they're hitting the creature, but it doesn't seem to be taking any damage from those strikes. So it is. You just double checking. You rolled advantage on that second one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So neither of those hit. So you can move somewhere if you like, or you can stay where you are.
If I stay where I'm at, since it's not moving.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so it comes to its turn, and it's going to go ahead and stand still, doing nothing, because it is stunned.
Natural 20.
Take that tree.
So,
Tree's
Davos,
like an insult for it now.
you tree,
Yes.
you giant, extremely giant tree. Davos, it is your turn. What would you
Sounds
like
like a
to
Seven Universe thing.
do? It does a little, doesn't it?
And I run at it with my axe.
You can totally do that.
Like the
Yeah, so as you begin moving through the oily, like slushy ground that's below it, it does take a little bit more movement, so you're using your whole movement to get into base-to-base contact with it. So you're effectively at half speed in this like pit.
Alright, I hit it with my axe.
Okay.
The first one is a 14.
14 misses. You do have advantage on these attacks, by the way.
And it's a 26.
Okay, so the 26 hits. Let me know your damage.
That's a 9.
9. Very nice.
I'd like to also use my what is it? Divine Smite.
Oh, sure. Yep.
So that's an extra 2d8.
Cool.
But is it an undead?
It's not undead. This creature is a monstrosity.
Okay, alright, so just 2d8. Okay. Sure it is. There's an extra 13.
Extra 13 damage. Very nice. So it's going to be 10 of that.
And then I use my second attack,
Okay.
which was 2 1s. 2 1s there. That was 2 1s.
Very nice.
That's
Very, very nice.
That's 2 1s.
Okay.
Are you sure you didn't see that as 11?
No, because I'm using an app and it said automatic miss both times.
Oh, that's not so nice. Bugger.
It's not so nice. What happened?
So nothing happens. You just swing and a miss. At this point, you kind of like the axe.
It's not a catastrophic fail?
No, I don't like the idea of like, punishing you guys for rolling a dice, unless it's a.
But I
trap or
did
something
roll
like that.
2 1s.
Well, you drop your axe, and you'll have to use one of your actions to pick it up.
Oh my God.
Bonus next round to pick it up.
Can I bonus it now?
Yeah, if you've got a bonus, like casting Divine Smite's not a bonus.
Because... oh yeah, it is.
Yep. So you'll have to bonus next round to pick it up.
Oh no. Actually, no, it's not a bonus. It's just a random thing that happens.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay.
Sweet as. Well, you can pick it up.
I
right
do
now
that
then.
because that is my compulsion to pick up the axe. I pick up the axe in a hastily and foolhardy way.
Nearly immediately. You're just like, it gets out of your grasp. You pick it straight back up. Fantastic. So Davos, that's the end of your turn. It is Nefaris's turn, and she is currently being dragged along the ground by one of these tendrils. So she can try and break it with a strength check, or attack, or do something else.
She freaks out and uses hooves.
Oh, cool. So roll an attack and let me know what you get for hooves.
Wish I had
That was a critical hit.
Oh yeah.
D20 plus 4.
That's gonna do it.
That is one angry horse.
So double the damage dice, or roll the dice once and double it. Either way is fine.
That's 16 damage.
Ouch. That does damage. Nefaris does 16 damage. So just in a fit of rage, you see her just begin pummeling the base of this tree. This creature, and it begins opening up the skin around the base of it. You can see a whole heap of goo just begins to slide out of the side, but it's obviously taken quite a lot of damage here. Looks like it's on death's door. So comes to Belle. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Yes. I would like to do chill touch.
Chill
I guess
touch.
probably better where the goo's coming out.
Yeah, for sure. So you find that, and you can see the spectral hand kind of flies across the battlefield in front of you, aiming for that spot.
Mhm. Alrighty, and if I get it, it is 1d8, and it can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Okay.
I got another 2.
Another 2. God, you're rolling great. 2 misses,
I know,
unfortunately.
right?
Nice.
So that's not so great. Anything else that you wanted to do with your turn? Got a bonus or a movement?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. So, Ko comes back to the top of the round. What would you like to do?
First off, I'm not sure if Faye is at the door.
Yep, she is.
And what I would like to do. Okay, cool. So I would like to kind of nimbly duck, dive, dip and dodge my way to the tree trunk.
Yep.
And then stabby stab into
Okay,
the
cool.
trunk.
So, you go ahead, and from where you are, you can take 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. Yep. So you can make it just up to pretty much this point here near Nefaris, or the point just next to Davos here. Cool. So, because you have allies within 5 feet, you can roll your sneak attack damage if you hit, but go ahead.
It's with advantage anyway.
Yeah, it's still stunned, so if you hit, you auto-critical because you're a assassin-y rogue dude.
But I'm also doing my little sneak attack dagger.
Oh, sure. So from within, the inside of your wrist. Yep.
So I'll roll 2. So I roll 2 twice with advantage.
No, so you just roll a d20 twice. You don't get double super advantage.
That's what I meant. Like, roll d20 twice.
You did, yeah, just a double d20 roll.
17 for the first hit.
So try again.
$19 for the second.
So 19 misses, unfortunately.
What?
So neither hit, and
This is rigged.
you kind of like poke the dagger down into the goo, and then bring it back, and you can just see sizzling on the blade is this just disgusting black Icarus blood that kind of is giving off this really noxious vapor as it kind of sizzles, but neither is.
As a bonus action, can I carve my name into the tree?
You can try. I mean, you begin trying to carve, and you take like a second to like begin dragging down this it's almost like stone skin, and you get like the back of the K and begin doing like the front of it, and that's about where your turn ends, because it is that tough. Sil, comes to your turn. What would you like to do?
Oh yeah. Who's still grappled by it?
Davos and Nefaris, both of them.
Davos and Nefaris.
Oh, sorry,
right.
Magnus and Nefaris.
Yeah, that makes more sense. If I help, that's pretty much my whole action. Yeah, I'll try and help him to get out. Can I do that?
Yeah, so you can target like the limb, or you can like walk over there and try and like help him get down while it is still stunned.
I guess I'll target the limb.
Yep.
Sounds a lot better. It sounds more action-y. I'm all about action. Still's all about action. Let's go whip out a quarterstaff and just jump and try and like on the downswing, like run and jump, and then on landing kind of like like swing my quarterstaff onto this tendril. I wish I had like a sword, but I don't use swords.
That's okay. Let's see. We'll see what happens.
But you use your guns.
My guns. Oh, well, that's what I've been using all along, baby.
Heyo.
All right. Attack with that is a 16, and it can overcome magical resistance.
So 16
So I
total.
can channel my key through it. Yeah.
So that's with advantage still.
Oh, yes. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, still that.
So 16 doesn't do quite as much damage as you'd hoped. You definitely like hit the limb, and you notice that in its stunned state, it's almost completely frozen. So that first strike doesn't hit. But I'm gonna go ahead and move you up over next to Magnus.
Yeah. And then I'd just like to throw in a couple of extra attacks, like another swing at the limb, and just on the follow through do a bit of a backflippy sort of kick as a bonus action.
Nice. So
Because
go
I can
ahead.
do that.
Roll those.
Monk power. Natural 1 on the swing.
Advantage
weapon.
on both strikes still.
Oh, damn it. I even gave the advantage and I've forgotten.
Yep.
Oh, nat 20, baby. Natural 20.
split the
Thanks,
difference.
Liam. You're a
Okay.
pal.
Oh,
No,
no, just
so
like
that's
trying
on
to
the
keep my
swing
party
with-
alive.
Oh, you're a good guy. You know
No
that?
worries.
You're a good guy. So that's a nat 20 on the swing. You want me to roll for the kick as well, or just go with the swing first?
Do the
The
damage
damage.
for the swing first, and let me know what you get.
Yeah. I rolled twice and then add my...
Yeah, you can roll the dice
Yeah, I'll do
twice,
that, yeah.
and then add your modifier after.
Oh, baby, that's 4 plus 6 plus 4, which is 14.
14. So,
All
Sil,
blood damage.
as you bring the staff down a second time, how would you like to kill this creature?
Oh, damn. Well, because I'm swinging it at the tendril, right? The rope.
Yep.
The vine that's coming out of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to sort of get it kind of wrapped up in it, So much so that it sort of the whole creature sort of leans into me. And can that happen? Is that a thing?
Yeah. It's your
Because I
story.
swing down, it sort of gets tangled up, and it's just like it gets tangled up in the quarterstaff, and I brought it down, and I just let go of the staff because this thing's towering down, and I just like to do one glorious roundhouse kick right to where you might imagine a face would be on this thing.
Perfect.
Just as it falls, like bang.
Yeah. So as you're
Then
pulling it
just let
down, as you're pulling it down with the staff, you can see that the section near where it's still ablaze, the oil is like around its mouth. You use that as a target and bring your heel around, kicking it right near the center of the tree. And you see all of the limbs unravel, go limp, and the entire creature just fall onto the 5 foot stone section around the sides of the room, and it collapses entirely, just in this destroyed creature and flames. And so, as you all
just as this is happening, I'd like to just say, get rooted.
very nice. Do you have inspiration right
So,
now?
No.
Take it.
Yes.
I just rolled another blink check, and now that the fight is over, it was successful. So I just want to be like,
Yeah.
hey, Sil, thanks a lot.
Yeah. So you look over and you're like, hooray, I helped Magnus. And he's like, thanks, and then just disappears entirely. Magnus, you, having not cast this spell before, you can see that immediately the entire filter of the world changes, as though everything is outlined in shades of grey and just wispy kind of tones, as it feels as though your body is not quite there. There's some ethereal nature to the world around you now, and for about the next 6 seconds you're just like stuck in this realm. You begin trying to interact with things and your hand passes through them, and there's just this overall kind of silence in the world that's around you. Then blink back, you're in reality again, and you can see Sil, and I'll get you to just roll 2 more d20 and we'll see what happens.
That one's a no.
A no.
That one's also a no.
Okay, cool. So you kind of come back, and over the next minute, pretty much just kind of have this almost entirely tangible form, as though at any second you could just fall back into that reality again. But yeah, for the moment, everything seems to be fine in the world. Sil, you look up towards the head of the creature and can see that there's the fire is just beginning to go out around this toothed maw, and in the dying flames you can see that there's a whole heap of glittering blue that is coming from near the base of its teeth, and the
Is
reflection.
it still? How are those flames? Can I? Sorry, keep talking.
No, that's all right. The flames are pretty close to snuffed. They're almost out, and you could put them out by just stepping on them. But you can also see that amongst the blue there is actually the reflection of something metallic.
Oh wow! Can I reach in and grab this metallic thing, or touch it if it's really big?
Yeah, it's you walk across and begin having a look, and you pull back some of the teeth of this creature and can see that inside of its maw, just inside of its throat, there's a rod that's roughly about a foot long, relatively
Foot long.
relatively thin.
what she
Yeah,
said.
it's full foot long. And around the sides of it you can see that it's almost some kind of fractal pattern that seems to be wrapping around the outside of the rod, as though looking almost like lightning bolts.
Weird.
And
Very
then
weird.
also amongst it you
Can
can see
I-
that there's 12 of these small blue jaspers these tiny gems that look like each of them would probably be worth about 10 gold.
Wow. All right. Well, I'd like to grab this foot-long rod.
Yep.
And just hold it up. Sort of. I'm trying to be subtle. I'm just trying to look like I'm inspecting it, but in reality, I'm standing on my defeated foe with like my feet on his maw and just holding it up, trying to really look really heroic and impress you all.
Nice.
Does it work? Do I look really heroic, or do I just
Roll for it. Roll for it.
Well, Falcor, you turn around and see Syl like holding something up into the air, and he's kind of like standing with his chest a little puffed and like just looking as though he's trying to figure out what this thing is. It's a very what would you call it? Victorious pose.
What a coincidence.
I will look towards him and go, high five!
And I'd like to respond with, very nice.
And I roll performance check on the high five. No joke, that was actually a natural one, I'm sorry. Oh my god.
He's like, high five, and then
Terrible performance.
slips in the mud. But yeah, so...
Hey guys, there's jewels in there. There's jaspers. Blue jaspers.
Jaspers.
Am I still in the ethereal plane? Or have I bimped back now?
No, you've been bounced back by this point.
I'm just sort of like, oh man. Yeah, I was just going, hey,
Magnus
look
has
at this
just
tree.
disappeared.
There's some jewels.
I'm like,
We just know that you're... Yeah.
So you keep
I
going.
bimped back, I'm gonna be like, oh man, that was so trippy. There were so many shades of grey. There must have been at least 50 shades of grey.
Where would
My God.
I go to Kyle like, I wish it was Davos.
Magnus, do you have inspiration?
I do not.
I would have taken it away. So the foe is defeated. You are all standing amidst the death that has occurred. And what would you all like to do?
I want to carve graffiti into the tree.
Yeah, so you begin carving.
Still.
You're just like, I'm gonna fucking finish writing in the tree.
And then I also do things like ropers suck, you know. And
Ropers
How
are
weird is
equal worst.
Can Ko like write, or does she do one of those like backwards Ks?
well, probably if I was writing English backwards, but I'd say I was writing in what do I have? What is it? Primordial.
Primordial.
Yeah, nice.
Ooh.
That's my native language. That's what I write it.
So I think
It
they
looks like
write
a bunch
in
of
what, like-
squiggles to you. It looks like Doctor's
I think
handwriting.
they write in Elven, don't they? Oh, I don't even. I'm just making this stuff up.
No, it
I know
very-
you are.
It
It's
very well
alright.
could be. I'm not certain. I haven't
Just
seen
everything's
elemental
Elven.
writing.
Maybe Dwarven.
Everything is a little elven when you get down to the roots of it all.
Yep.
Let's not dive into that too far.
No.
So, you can see these two doors ahead of you, and for expedience purpose, Davos runs up and is looking towards them. You gonna crack those doors open?
I seeing no traps on the last two doors. I just assume there's no traps on this one, so I open it.
Yeah, cool. So you push the doors open, and they kind of like hold for a second as though they're not going to, and then budge. And you can see that there's a hallway ahead that has a single door at the southern end that looks to go just to the south. It doesn't seem like there's anywhere in particular. It doesn't seem like it's
I say,
inclining or declining.
Come
just
on,
staying.
fellow travelers. Venture.
Well, I'd just say to Bell and Co, like, help me get these gems, and then we'll follow.
I shrug and just go help where I can.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, Phelan knocked over my computer.
That's a big booty.
And she tried to knock my dice off the table and tried to eat my dice.
She's just a
Oh
giant.
my god.
Give me a second.
Roll
Can I-
for attack.
Can I
I
also
think she
like?
rolled a 20.
And I'd be like, hey, Sil, can I inspect your rod?
Absolutely, you can. Do you want to inspect my immovable rod, or my,
Oh,
or this new
Seriously,
rod?
Matt-
This one with the.
I
Yeah?
feel like
which
we
one's
may
longer
already
and
see-
harder?
Well,
My
it
dick.
depends if I click the button on the end, but yeah.
The new rod. I will inspect your new rod. New is always
New
better.
rod. So the new rod, it had like lightning sort of looking stuff on the side.
It certainly
I
did.
believe it was.
Magnus, if you'd like to go
Yeah.
ahead and roll a, let's see, Arcana check for me, while this dog tries to climb onto my lap.
Sorry about our puppy, everyone.
That is a 22.
22. You know exactly what this is, and it is a rod of lightning bolts. You know that. Sorry.
Wait, wait.
Destroyed.
Is it related to me? Because my name is Cobalt.
You don't think it's related to Yuko.
Maybe.
I disagree.
It's a late
Okay.
distant
Rod
cousin.
Okay.
Of lightning bolts.
So, you know that this is a rare wand that requires attunement, and sorry about the dog. Requires attunement by a spellcaster. The wand has 7 charges, and while holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 or more of its charges to cast the lightning bolt spell. And its spell save would be a DC 15. For 1 charge, you cast the 3rd level version of the spell. You can increase the spell slot by 1 for each additional charge that you expend. The wand regains 1d6 expended charges daily at dawn, and if you expend the wand's last charge, there is a 5% chance that the wand will be destroyed.
Oh, back. What did I miss?
Okay, I'm going to relay that, and I'm going to be like, I think this would either be a you, me, or Thorax thing, Bell. So we can discuss
Can
that.
it be? But there's other classes. Like, what about Falcor?
I think I should have it. Yeah.
Because Falcor can do stuff too.
I'd like to use it as an arrowhead. Yeah.
Yeah, Falcor can
That's
definitely
cool.
use that.
So does Falcor sort of like his eyes sort of light up as he looks at it, I take it? Or like, what do you do, Falcor, when you see them?
They lightning
Right.
up.
Oh.
I look at it and squint my eyes and lick my lips and go arrowhead.
Ah.
I don't think this would be.
Make good bleed. Hmm.
I don't think this would be very effective as an arrowhead, Falcor.
Oh, can I have a look for just a sec?
I
We are a
suppose.
team.
And I jab
Sure.
it into your knee. See how much it works? Now you guys
Aw,
know. Sorry.
I take it back.
So, with that,
Cool. Who's got the rod then? Someone's gonna have this rod, guys.
Yeah.
I've
who
got
has
it
it?
right now, but we can work out who wants it. I mean, I
think
can use it, but someone else
everyone
can
puts
also
a hand
use
on
it.
it. And the last person to take the hand off wins it.
I mean,
Last person.
considering I only have 2 spell slots at a time, but then I get spell slots back and Gabby doesn't. So
Maybe we
No,
share them.
but I've also
we
already
pass
got
between
something,
us.
and Falcor has only had hand-me-down magic items.
Him, he totally
Is
has.
Falcor a magic caster though?
Yeah, he's a ranger.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's
It just-
a one.
it
He's
just
a what?
says
A quarter, a
requires-
half caster.
so requires attunement by a spellcaster.
do you want to use this for spells and not for arrows, Falcor?
Are you saying that my archery is not like a spell? I take that offense. wizard.
You can take all the offense you like, Arrow Man.
You can call him a witch. He likes it.
I
You guys
just like
have
to
it.
whisper, like, it's gonna whisper to Ko, like, my archery is better.
I've got two
Okay,
hand-me-downs, cool swords, so I'm fine. But you guys need to put the hand on each and let the good times roll. Bathroom breaks will be weird.
I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm happy with my stuff that I have at the moment.
Okay, well,
I vote we throw it to each other in times of need.
I'm just gonna put it away for now.
Yeah, it's the
I'll
best.
attune to it next time we take a rest.
Still just picks it up and snaps it over his knee. No one will have this.
No, Sil doesn't.
How
Sil
about
looks
you
at
pass
magic and
around
he's like,
something to tune to it?
yeah, that's. Oh, actually, yeah, true.
Well, Ko,
Wait,
you
does
could,
everyone have
you
to
could also
attune to it
use it because
separately?
you can cast a spell.
Yeah, but I prefer someone else use it. I just got an
Yeah.
awesome hat.
I know. I was
That
just,
is
Well,
just
maybe-
letting you know.
Maybe
Maybe
It does
Thorax will
like
want it. When Kelvin's back, we can talk to Thorax about it.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys
This
over
is
the
true.
next coming
I'll just
hours
squirrel it away.
decide amongst yourselves in character who would like the wand. But for the moment, without an hour break, no one can really use it anyway. So you continue on, Davos leading the way, as was decided, and you all head down this corridor that is in the east, getting to the door that is at
You
the
said
end of
corridor.
it. I said corridor.
I heard that too. Hey.
What did you guys hear?
Horror door.
Oh, corridor.
100% heard that.
I definitely wasn't saying corridor. Corridor.
It was a horror door. It was a skeleton.
Hold the door. Hold the door.
It
Hold
still
the door.
still feels too soon.
Hold the door.
So
Davos is very confident and opens the door without checking for traps.
very nice. So, Davos, you push open the door, revealing a massive room. There is a very, very large area ahead of you. Give me a second here and I'll light it up before we actually get to talking about where and what it is. And I'll zoom out so all those lovely people on Twitch can go ahead and see it also.
Quick question.
Yes.
How dark is it at the moment?
Your torch is gone. Magnus, I believe
Yes.
you don't have your spell up currently. For
Oh my god.
lights,
I didn't,
so
but like,
Well, could I take the moment to just like slowly come out of my battle glory and just be like, oh fuck, it's
Yep.
really dark in here.
if it
Yeah.
was really dark though, I would have cast my birds. So let's just
Yeah.
say we got the birds.
cool.
Alright.
So they come back
Magnus,
relatively
cast the
quickly.
birds. Cast the birds.
If anyone gets lost, just follow my hair.
That's pretty much the only light source when all other lights are out is Ko's hair, and that sheds light for about 5
Alright.
feet.
Ko and I are best friends.
Okay, so this enormous chamber is 30 feet tall with mighty buttressing and a vaulted ceiling. Parts of the ceiling and walls have collapsed, and raw earth has spilled down from a gaping hole in the eastern wall. Crushed beneath a fallen block in the center of the room are humanoid remains. Everywhere else around the floor are chewed and decayed corpses of baboons. Through a hole in the eastern ceiling, you can actually see the night sky. Starlight and fresh air filter through. Above through this gap can be seen 4 baboons. They jump around the hole and scream in agitation, and as they do, dirt begins to slide down the banks and rock in the walls shifts slightly. So you can see that above the area that is just here in the eastern part of the room, there is that gaping hole in the ceiling that's about 30 feet up. And other than that, there's not a great deal else. There's stuff that is crushed near the center of the room over here. And other than that, yeah, it all just seems to be rubble. There's a couple of doors, one that heads to the south, to the northwest, one to the west, and one to the southeast.
So these baboons, are they like messing with us at all? They were up 30 feet, right? In that hole?
They are like up
Like
and
poking out?
outside. Yeah, they seem to like occasionally.
Where's
you'll
this hole in the roof?
just over this section in the eastern wall. Oh, that was pretty cool.
close.
Double circles.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see a hole that's roughly
across the sky.
roughly about 5 feet round, that these baboons are kind of like jumping around in, and like at the top of, and screeching and yeah, just generally carrying on.
I think they want an arrow to the face. Like, they really want it. So I'd like to grab an arrow, pull out my bow, fire an arrow at the face of one of these baboons for being such a smartass.
So you're coming into the room?
I won't.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
actually,
the
it's
room.
pretty far off. Actually, before that, I guess I walk into the room. Let's take this sequentially, shall we?
Cool.
Following Davos.
Nice. So you can see occasionally still like 2 or 3 of them will like, they're kind of like circling around the hole and looking down occasionally, like leaning in and looking, and then as soon as they see you, just a couple of like like baboony noises coming down through the hole, and they like bounce back for a second and then begin circling again.
Alright.
You scared
Actually,
Faye with
maybe-
that, just so you know.
Scared me.
I'd scare
There's some
everyone.
freaky baboons,
They're really crazy.
but in the time it took me to walk about 20 feet, I've calmed down and I'm not going to shoot them in the face. Not yet.
Cool.
I'd like to pull the bow out though.
Nice. So yeah, you can see that they are just looking down into the room occasionally, and not really, seeing too much else.
Alright. You live another day, baboons.
Is there a place that slopes upwards at all?
No, the floor of the room seems to be generally quite uniform, as though you've been coming up out of one section into another.
I'm not very smart. I don't know where to go.
Let's inspect the walls, shall we? Just check the perimeter.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's what
while
people do.
Davos, as you head across to the door in the northwest, can I just get you to roll a perception check for me to see whether you can see much around?
Natural 1.
Natural 1! You don't see
see.
anything. Well, you see stuff. You definitely see stuff. There's a lot of rubble. There's
Rocks,
definitely like
lots of rocks.
lots of rocks, just like heaps of them. And you head across towards this door that is just kind of like to the, like about 5 feet from you. And I'm just gonna take a second here and see what happens for you.
Good things.
All the best things.
Sexy things.
As you are kind of moving through this rubble towards the doorway, you see something leap out at you and strike at the back of your heels. There is a large snake that is two-headed
Whoa.
that begins crawling out from below the rubble near where the dead body was, and you can see that this giant constrictor, both heads coming up and looking directly at you, one of them strikes out immediately and is going to, what's that, that's a 14 plus 6, which is 20, which is going to try and attack you. So it does
20 hits.
20 hits, and that's going to be 11 piercing damage. And the second head is going to go ahead and sort of just sit back and begin hissing at you as you see the tail beginning to wrap around you. And that...
I also need to take a saving throw.
It does?
No, I do.
Oh, go for it.
Remember your aura of protection.
Yeah, you also have your
Oh, yeah, that's
aura of
important.
protection. Yep. So you
Okay,
survive.
21.
You survive for the moment. Cool. And you see that the creature begins wrapping around you, which is going to be an 18.
Yeah, that is.
Okay. And so it is going to go ahead and instead... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, and... Okay. So that's going to be 2d8 damage. Where are my d8s? Right there. That's going to be 9 bludgeoning damage as it begins constricting you. And then at that point, you are grappled and can go ahead and try and make a grapple check on your next turn. So if I could get everyone to roll initiative for me, and we'll see what happens here.
21.
16.
21. So we got
12.
21, 16, 12. That's going to be
11.
10 for Falcor.
11.
4 for Bill.
10 for Falcor, 4 for Bell. So that's going to be...
I don't think I've gone past 10.
Not in a
I
while.
don't think I've been
You new
past 5.
dice, babe.
Damn.
We got Sil. And who was 16?
Davos.
Davos.
Yeah.
14 was Snake. The Snake. 12 was Co. 11 was Falcor.
I was 11.
Oh, you were 11. Co.
10.
10 was Falcor. Magnus, you were 12, I'm assuming.
I was.
Yep. And Bell. Okay, so nice. So at this point in time, I'm gonna go ahead and Sil. You can see that Davos kind of yells out, and you can see this snake that has 2 heads that is just kind of like looking towards him. One of the heads is just moving back from after striking him, and the second you can see is sitting back while one of the tail, the tail, is beginning to wrap around the creature, around Davos. So, what would you like to do?
Yeah. I'd like to just go there and just sort of throw it and pick up a dart out of my pouch and chuck it at it, just out of like disgust. Like, I think it's 30 feet away from me currently, but if not, I'm gonna just run towards him and just get sharp. And
Yeah, it's just
how far we got? Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Easily. So I just like to chuck it at the snake,
Okay.
and then just come in and for some reason like kick the snake twice.
Yeah,
If
sure.
I can.
Yeah, you can kick it.
Just kick it. Really?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll some
Cool.
attacks for me. Let me know what you get.
Awesome. The dart is a 14.
14
Attack
hits. Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, the damage on that baby is... Holy shit, does my dart... Oh, yeah, we did... Well, I get 1d6 on it. Jeez, that's a 9 damage on the
9
dart.
damage. Woo! That's a deadly
Yeah.
dart.
Yeah, I chuck darts like a mother. Specifically a mother. Mothers are very good at dart throwing.
Fathers, not so much.
And I'm rolling for the 2 kicks, the like stomping sort of on it, homie stomp.
Yep.
Cool. One of them's a 19.
That
And the
hits.
other one is a 19 plus 7, 26, and then the second one is a 9.
So the 9 misses, but the 27 definitely hits.
Okay, and then that's 10 damage on the
10 damage.
first stomp.
Not bad, friend. That goes pretty well. You manage to do some pretty serious damage to it, and that's the end of your turn. Davos. So you've made your movement all the way up to next to it, I'm assuming. Cool. And
Yes.
Davos.
And there I stay.
Cool. You're currently grappled, so if you try to make any attacks, you'll have disadvantage. But you can make an attack to. You can make your check to get out if you'd like.
Is that a whole action?
I think grapples can be taken as your movement, so you can use your movement to like get out of a grapple.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep.
So,
So like you still need to make your check, but you use your movement instead. I will double check that though, but go ahead and roll
yeah, it
either.
has to use the action to escape.
It does.
Actually, if
Yeah,
you
okay.
want it from the book.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
uses the
Okay.
action to escape. It must succeed on a strength, athletics, or dexterity acrobatics.
Yep. Cool. Okay. So you can use your action, or you can
I
remain
don't.
grappled.
Just attack it with my.
Okay. So these strikes will be at disadvantage.
13.
13 barely hits. Yep.
That does 6 damage.
6 damage. Very nice.
And the other one is an automatic miss.
Okay.
For
So
one.
the second one misses. Fantastic. So at the end of Davos's turn, the snake goes. Because it has you grappled, it is going to go ahead and take 2 bites, both of which are going to. I think. Now, when it has a creature grappled, until the grapple ends, the creature is restrained, and the snake can't restrict another target. That's fine. Just trying to think whether it has advantage or not on its strikes against you.
It doesn't say anything like that. It's just more that my movement speed.
Although the restrained condition attack rolls against the creature do have advantage.
Okay, thank you for that, Jordan. So we've got
No worries.
bite attack is going to be, the first one is a 14, which I'm sure misses, and then the second head is going to be a 15, which I think also misses. So both of the teeth both of the heads try to attack you. You manage to fend one of them off with your shield, and the second one kind of grabs onto a thick section of chainmail instead of your skin. You can hear the teeth kind of piercing through the chainmail, but not actually getting you. So you manage to avoid those strikes. Magnus, comes to your turn. You're out in the corridor at the moment, and you can hear something going on inside of the room, besides the baboon screeches.
So I'm gonna come in and head towards my friends.
Yep.
Be like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then be like, oh god, a giant 2-headed snake!
Yep, that's what's happening. You can see
So,
Davos slowly being constricted.
I am going to accost the
Just leave
snake
him!
with my vicious mockery,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say, hey, 2 for 1. The whole isn't always equal to the sum of its parts.
Very nice.
Ooh, burn.
What type of?
So
type
he
of
needs to
save?
make a wisdom save.
Which it's
A
great at.
wisdom save.
Wisdom save. That's a 7,
Such a wise snake.
so it
Okay,
fails.
so he takes 6 points of psychic damage
Okie doke.
and will have disadvantage on his next attack.
So Syl has advantage on his next attack. Cool. Davos, can you
No.
also?
The snake has disadvantage when it attacks.
Oh my god, I wish I had advantage from that.
So, Davos, can you also roll for Nefaris?
Oh yeah.
But yes, you yell out these words, kind of bending reality with your bad pun, and the creature kind of like, you see it flinch for a moment, and kind of like the constriction like gets passed on to Davos, and he gets squeezed a little bit tighter. But the creature definitely seems like it's confused and reeling, not even understanding your language. It can tell that your intention was harm. And at that point, burn. Somebody call the doctor. Ko, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Oh, can I roll for Nefaris?
Yeah, so what's Nefaris's initiative?
Just running at the snake.
Then what happens?
12.
12. Okay, cool. So, actually acts on Magnus's turn. So at that point, sorry, Ko, if you can wait for half a moment. Nefaris, what is Nefaris doing?
Never.
Can it run 20 feet from where Magnus is to the snake?
Yep, easily.
As in a straight line?
It kind of would... yeah, I mean, as it is...
Never mind, it's there.
Yeah,
No, let's just say
I'll say
it doesn't.
you're trying to get it to charge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that yes, you can.
Let's do
You can.
one.
Okay. Because you're also like
In that...
you're also like constricted by the snake at the moment. So if it's being charged, you're being charged.
Sure. Well, I attack it with boobs first.
Cool.
And that's a 15.
15 hits.
And that does 12 damage.
12 damage. Very nice. Okay.
And then it needs to do a DC 14 strength saving throw.
Cool.
Or not prone, which I don't think is a thing for a snake.
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably lose its grapple, but its strength save is a 20 total.
Jeez.
Okay, then that's fine. That's end of turn.
Nice. So at that point, Ko, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
I'll do just like a little sneaky peeky and see what's going on.
Yep.
And can I even reach what's going on at the moment?
So you can use your movement and dash it as a bonus action as a rogue, like with your abilities. You can like dash, hide, or something else with your
Or dodge.
uncanny action.
Can I jump into the rubble nearby and hide? Waiting
Yeah.
for the strike.
Yeah, you can hide if you like. So you can, from where you are, you've got, 30 feet to.
Can I go there?
Yeah, you could easily. Yeah, I'll say you could make it there. And roll a stealth check for me.
Yeah. And that one.
Natural 1. You just like fall in the rubble, and at that point, because the rubble is kind of a little bit of precarious area, you see that the wall begins kind of caving a little next to you, and does a
I just quickly go, wasn't me.
does a 14 hit your armor class?
Can I uncanny dodge?
So does it hit your armor class? Yes.
It's on par.
Okay, so it does. So that'll be 6 bludgeoning damage, which you can uncannily dodge to take half damage if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. So you take 3 bludgeoning damage as the roof kind of caves in a little bit on you, and you can see some exposed tree root in the thick kind of soil above the roof. But yeah, you take a little bit of damage there, and I'll say that's the end of your turn. Falcor, Whereabouts are you and what's
Yeah.
happening?
Oh yeah, that was a bit of Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Moving into position. Yeah. Scrolling down. Yeah. Alright. I will get right to the thick of it, if I may. I'm gonna
So-
go from the behind the snake,
Yep. Cool.
and I'd like to use my swordies to slash away.
Okay, cool. So you're flanking it, so you've got advantage on its attack, on your attack. So go ahead and let me know what you get. Roll your d20 twice and take the higher.
Woohoo! 19.
19 hits. So is this with the your new obsidian sword?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anyone know if that's like a D6, sorry, for the swords?
Longsword, I think, is a d8
Or
or
eight.
yeah. So because you like dual wield, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So you take a d8.
D8.
Plus your
Alright.
proficiency.
Yes. And that is 5 damage on that one.
5 damage, very nice. So you manage to
And I get-
slice through like a bit of the back of the creature, and it begins to release a little bit of its hold on Davos, and you can take your second attack.
Yes. Yeah. Do I do the second attack first, or do I do the second sword attack first? Because I'm dual wielding.
So if you're dual
I'm
wielding, yeah. So usually an offhand attack would be like if you had a finesse weapon, so like a dagger or a scimitar or something like that. So what was Davos's sword? Is it a short sword or is it?
They're
a
both
both-
standards. Single
Both
handed.
long swords.
Yeah.
both long swords. So you could take an attack with each of your swords, whereas when you were using short swords, you could essentially use one action to take 2 swings
Oh, gotcha.
because they're like
So
a
no
bit,
second
bit
attack.
lighter and smaller. So you can take you
Gotcha.
can use your like second action as another attack.
Okay. I will do that.
Cool.
Yeah. 17.
17 hits as well.
Yeah. I dropped the dice, but it still gave me attack. 7 damage.
7 damage total. That's not too bad. You can see that this creature's pretty close to its like its last legs, and it
Doesn't
doesn't
have any
actually
legs?
have any. Yeah, I just thought about that then. Belle, comes to your turn. What would you like to do?
Alright, so I step out and see what's happening.
Yep. So you
And
walk
then I
into the
see
room.
that the... Yeah,
Yeah.
then just idly over here
Cool.
next to my buddy. And then I realize that the snake has Davos, so I just smirk and watch it for a while. That's about it.
Cool. Yeah. So
I
you
was
just see
wondering
this.
what you do.
You see this two-headed giant constrictor like wrapping around him, and both of the heads like constantly trying to find a way through his armor. And you're just like standing next to Magnus, and you're like, cool.
Rubbing
So-
my hands. Yeah.
Syl comes to the top of the round, and it is your turn.
Oh, cool.
At the moment, you would probably be able to get advantage. I'd say that Falcor has it flanked between you and him.
I was just gonna try and be a nice guy and help out Mr. Davos by just sort of trying to wrestle this thing or distract it so he can better hit it or get out.
Oh, cool. Okay. So if you want to spend your action doing
Yep.
that, I'd say that I can give
Yep.
Davos advantage on his like save to like get out if he wants to, and that would
Cool.
be like you're assisting with that. So if you've got any bonuses or anything else that you wanted to do,
No, my bonus needs me to attack, so that's a no.
okay.
Just
Cool.
trying to be helpful.
No, cool. That's good. So it does come to your turn, Davos, and Sil is like very visibly trying to help you get out of the like clutches of this snake. And so you can go ahead and either make a strength check with advantage or a dex check with advantage, whichever one you'd like to try and escape with. Or you can just keep hitting the creature.
Strength check.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna keep hitting. No, actually. Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay, no, I will.
Sucker.
Is it still disadvantage?
You have... I'd say yes. Not for your grapple check, sorry. So you would just be
No,
able
but
to
just
make...
for the attack.
So are you attacking?
Yeah, I was gonna attack it.
Okay, so yes, it'll be at disadvantage. Because you are currently restrained.
15.
15 does hit though. So go ahead and let me know what your damage is there.
9.
Okay, so how would you like to kill this creature?
I would like it to be 2 snakes, please.
Very nice. You see that, like, Seal is just beginning to pull the tail off from around the back of your armor. The creature is rearing back to take another strike, and you just lift your axe overhead and swing it straight down in between both of the heads, and carving it through about a good 1.5 foot of like the length of the creature. It sort of falls apart into two-thirds snakes, and like you feel all of the constrictive force just drop from around your legs, and you begin to notice that the creature is dead, and that Sil is slowly dragging a dead snake along the ground, while Nefaris kind of like hooves the shit out of it, turning it into some kind of paste.
I turn to Magnus and I shrug like, well, that was fun, and just keep walking.
Nice.
I keep touching the perimeter.
And
Cool.
I wish I had some
I
graph
think-
paper, because then I could make snakes on a plane.
Well,
So bad.
that was terrible. I think that's another pun that bends reality
Yeah, that's a
in
bad
its
one.
awfulness.
Brick
Can you
the
have
DM.
-1 inspiration?
Yeah, he can at any time re-roll with disadvantage. Can that happen?
I think yes. I think yes. So I'm a bit wary of time, and realize that Chris had told me before game that he needed to head off at 10. So just before anything else happens, Chris, are you needing to hop out at the moment?
Yeah, I was just waiting till the snake died, kind of thing.
Okay, cool. And up to you guys. We can continue for another 45 minutes or so, or we can call it till next Monday.
What are you voting on?
I'm happy to keep playing, but up to everyone else as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm happy to go.
I'm happy to keep
Sure.
going.
Cool.
At least
Alright.
like 10:30.
Fair. Okay, so for the minute, Chris, we will bid you adieu, and hope that you have a lovely day in the morrow. And in the meantime,
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and switch up the overlay and get everyone else on camera and see if I can go ahead and not fuck this up too bad.
Alright, I'll see you guys later.
Okay. See you later,
Bye.
Chris. Thanks for playing, man. Catch you soon.
Bye, Chris.
He's my favorite ranger.
Oh, he's the ranger of your
He's
heart.
ranger of your heart. Oh my god,
Oh,
no
Oh
way.
Nice.
my god.
You guys are just the
I like
best.
Tyramir.
I feel like we need to have like pun of the game and just like class on our Instagram all the time.
I have
feel
been
like
getting
you
a
should
couple
be able
of
to get a
know
red
that-
card though.
red card for like
oh,
just
red
terrible.
card.
red
banned.
cards?
Like you're banned from winning the pun of the game because your pun was so bad.
Oh,
But it could be either
that's-
that it was so good or so bad.
Ah,
I
If I-
haven't decided yet.
It's like, if it's just bad, you're out. But if it's relatively good and makes me facepalm, I think I'll probably go ahead and let you have it.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah,
really
that
want to
makes sense.
encourage me? Is that what you want to do here?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
we're
so.
upping the
We do.
stakes.
We
It's
do.
got to be so bad that it's good, or like not at all. If it's kind of bad, it's not good enough or bad enough.
Yeah. If
I'd
it's
like
just
to have a reward.
that was
It's like,
that was Av.
yeah, it's like Magnus's own like reward chart. Like if you collect enough stars each week, like each month.
I'm going to be
You need
using
to
vicious
multiclass
mockery a
into
lot
bard,
more.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while I just fix up the overlay a little bit more, what actually happens is that while you guys are beginning to drag the snake across the ground and get it out of the way generally, you begin hearing from across the room, that these baboons that were once just sitting up around the top of the room are beginning to descend down into it. And Belle, from right behind you, you can see that there are 4 baboons that are just sort of coming down through the roof, falling along all of the rubble, and are right behind you at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the same initiative order as what we had before, and flip my book across to the page that has the word baboon on it, because there
Why
are...
did I let them live?
I know. You had the shot.
We killed their king. We killed their king.
Yeah. Can we please have any markers to see kind of where they might be in case they move around?
I am right on that. If I can go
You are
ahead
the best.
and get my mouse working, let's draw some tiny little circles. I will get my shit together once I finish my thesis and actually have a few more in the way of what do you call it? Nice tokens that look like creatures rather than little baboons that are not creatures. There's a square one. There's a circle one.
Oh
There's
my
a-
god. They're
there's a-
hideous.
Another one. What are we gonna say? Let's
A
say
red more?
a red one. There's a red circle. Oh no, it's not.
That's baboon.
It's not gonna do that. Oh yeah, there's a red one,
That is
and then there's
ugly
a
baboon.
red square one. There we go.
What's that?
So 4 baboons fall into the room, and at this point, Syl, you're currently dragging a snake
Oh my god.
across the ground, and you see that immediately behind Belle, falling through a whole heap of rubble, are these baboons that were once taunting everyone behind, everyone that was coming into the room. What would you like to do?
Can I use the snake as an improvised weapon or a whip?
You can totally try. I love it. So
Absolutely trying. Well, it's what I'm holding. So
yeah, it's certainly an
let's
improvised,
do it.
certainly an improvised weapon. But I like your
Does
like
it
gusto.
have like reach or something on it? How long is the
It'd
snake?
probably be like 10 feet.
Sick. All right. I'm gonna take that snake. I'm gonna slide under the forest there.
Yep.
And just move on into the one on Belle's left. Sort
Okay,
of
cool.
to about here. And swing that motherfucking snake.
Okay, cool. So go ahead. This is going to be a strength check because this thing's pretty massive.
I don't know
No,
how
that's
big
alright.
it is. All right, cool. What's a strength check? So do you want me to roll? And
Yeah,
then add
yeah. So
strength?
yeah, roll and add strength. Sorry.
That would be 18.
18. Okay, you succeed, and you fling the giant
Yes.
snake overhead, grabbing it by the tail. 2 of these giant constrictor heads come down towards the baboon, and you could see fear in this creature's eyes, as though they were staying out of the room because they knew there was some kind of giant snake in here. And as the heads come down, it's gonna go ahead and do 2d6. Let's go ahead and say less than that, 2d4. Bludgeoning damage.
Are you just trying to say head in every second word?
Am I?
He is.
I am.
Yes. So much head.
And At that point, you see that this baboon that you have attacked is just flattened completely underneath it. You hear bones breaking. You hear just shrill screeches that I won't repeat for fear of scaring the crap out of my dog again. But this creature is dead. The first one just completely destroyed.
Oh, yes.
That's-
This snake was more deadly in death than it was in life.
I mean, baboons are pretty.
Are you gonna like wear it around you like a scarf and just like whip it out when you need it?
It was a belt, a snake belt.
Oh, alright.
Simon.
Well, it's pretty big, so I hear.
It is.
But I suppose that's my attack. It would have taken all of my strength and effort to swing this bad boy, so
Pretty
I'm
much.
good. I'm standing where I am.
You can do it as a
Panting.
whip.
Think like two-headed
Cool.
anaconda.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So at this point in time, Davos, your turn. What would you like to do?
How far can I run? 30.
30 feet. So you could probably, and going through Nefaris, like around, like through her space, probably take you an extra 5 feet. So you'd probably behind Bell would be the closest you could get, unless you wanted to move again and get your action a little bit closer.
Can I hold my axe over Belle? Past flaming hands without hitting her?
Probably not, because it's kind of like
Okay.
the distance between you and Belle is 5 feet. And so even if you were to hold it like as tall as you possibly could, after 5 feet of travel, it's traveling in a cone and would probably just burn Belle's head. So you could move like, say, a square like southwest of where you are and cast it and still just get that one baboon, but that'd be your only range.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just run here then.
So you can run to there, or you can use your action to run further if you like. Like you can get right up to base, but you won't be able to attack this round.
Yeah, do that then.
Okay, cool. Okay, so at this point in time, we've got. I love the snake that you've drawn. That's wicked. I'm gonna go ahead and move this one. Two of them are just gonna freak out and try and get the fuck out of there. One of them runs. Let me see. This one's gonna run through its friend space and up this
Do we
way.
get any attack of opportunities?
It
Or Davos,
stays.
it goes close to.
Yeah, so it stays within range of Davos. This one is just. It's going to flee back through the hole in the roof or attempt to climb up. And by attempting to climb up, after seeing that snake, it fails its check, and a whole heap of rocks come down towards it. And that is going to be... You see that as it just begins raking at the wall, and a massive clump of like clay that's roughly the size of like, I don't know, like a coffee table, just falls directly onto the creature, and it is dead. It just completely
Good
hurt
on that
itself
one.
trying to like get out of there. It rolled a 3 on the die, and I was just like, nah, that's not good. The one that is standing... actually, both of the creatures that are standing near Davos are going to try and attack him. And so, because they are baboons, they have pack tactics, which means they get advantage on their attack rolls. So the first is a 10, but the second is a natural 20. And so the first creature is going to strike with... Okay, so it gets critical damage, which is a d4 minus 1, and on the d4 I rolled a 1. So Davos,
It's 000.
you take 1 significant point of damage from the creature.
I need to roll. I need to roll.
And then the second one.
No, I think I need to roll each time.
Yep. So yeah. So roll the first time.
I go into a rage. Oh no, wait. I put I'm fine. I'm safe.
You're safe. Cool.
Bell's
Okay.
Was a
right
14
there.
plus 3.
Oh, she would hate you so much.
So then the next one is going to be a 17 to hit, and that misses. Okay, so that's the baboon's turn. It comes to Magnus and Nefaris. So Magnus, what are you going to do?
Okay, so I've counted this distance and I can get to here, so I'm going to do that. So I'm flanking this guy with Davos.
Okay.
So now I'm going to take 2 strikes with my packed weapon with Green Flame Blade.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and let me know what you get.
So the first strike is a 24.
That hits.
And the second strike is a 20.
And that hits. So roll the damage on your first strike.
Jeez.
Okay, so... First strike is 3 piercing damage and
Yep.
7 fire damage, and then his buddy takes 7 fire damage also.
Cool. So they just both die in green flame. Just this green flame begins roaring up around the first creature as Magnus strikes it with his blade, and it leaps across to the second and just begins cooking it. You see both of them begin writhing on the ground in agony, and not long after, you begin hearing the sound of like crackling flesh and fat and sinews. It just is a complete
Delicious.
Bam barbecue.
Yum.
Yeah. So
There's a little snake.
it does. So you throw the snake on. No.
Um.
So those creatures are killed, and everyone standing around. Bell, before you turn around, everyone kind of descends on your location and just destroys these creatures. And you just stand there for a moment, looking at Davos. He's kind of like got a bit of a ragey look in his eyes, and he's like looks across at you, and he's like, "Okay," and turns back to Magnus and just looking at all of this green flame that is still just crackling across the creatures.
Alright, how big is this snake? Like, it's big. I'm probably not going to be able to carry it with us, am I?
I'd say no. You could probably you could carry it, but you'd be slow. You're probably gonna take some speed disadvantage if you wanted to bring it with you. You could hack it up and take its head or both of its heads or something. But you probably.
I'd definitely like to take both of its heads.
Yep.
Like, down to maybe 1 foot, maybe, like a head and a neck.
Yeah.
length
I'll say
of
that
each one.
you go ahead and see that the necks separate about maybe 1.5 feet down, and
Oh yeah.
that is where you're able to cut it off. It weighs about a good 15-ish kilos,
Oh,
and so it's going to be it kind of is going
no,
to
I'm
put
not
you
carrying much.
at your limit of what you're towards your limit of what you're carrying, but you can go ahead and wrap it
Yeah,
up
I'd
in a
say
whole heap
then
of
be on it.
cool. So you wrap it up in a whole heap of I suppose just cloth, whatever you've got on you, to stop it dripping so much throughout your pack, and then
Yeah, I've got a spare cloak that I'll just wrap it up in the cloak. Put it in the pack. It's pretty heavy, but I'll do it.
It's what spare cloaks are for.
Oh yeah, totally.
Great.
Snakeheads.
So, as you're all looking around, you can still see there's like near where the snake was first found, there's still this body that's crushed underneath a whole heap of rubble. And there's not much else that you can see throughout the room, but I'll just get everyone to roll a perception check for me. Just a group perception check.
14.
I got a 20, not natural.
Okay.
That one.
That
I
one.
got 23.
23. What was yours again, Davos?
I was a 7.
7.
Did you get
okay.
a nat one?
Bell
There's
is
a double
rolling
nat one.
amazing tonight.
Oh wow.
Doing it good.
Hot diggity.
So, at this point, let's see. There's a giant block that Magnus and Syl, you guys can see, that is actually the majority of this rubble that's holding this corpse on the ground. But around him, you can actually see there's a pouch that is tied to like near his shoulder. And you think if you were able to like lift the stone up, it'd probably take like a fair bit of strength between a few people. But you think that in similar ways to like moving the block in the past, a few people would be able to lift this. You could probably get 3 people around it to actually lift the piece anymore, and it's going to be difficult to actually move it.
Alright. Well, I guess I relay this to the group, and convene with Davos. Like,
Yeah.
should probably lift this up and someone grabs this guy out.
Maybe, Bell, you should mage hand and grab it just in case, like, it slips. We don't want anyone's arm crushed.
Mage hand can't carry hoops, I'm pretty sure.
It's a pouch, though. I can't imagine that's very
Oh.
heavy.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant
I'll
like
take the pouch.
dude
Yeah, I can
the
take the
pouch was attached to.
Cool.
It actually
So
depends though. If the pouch is also underneath the body, then the body has to be lifted up too.
Yeah, you think that like with 3 people, you could probably move this slab, but it's going to be a bit of an effort. So who's going to try and help out with moving it?
Alright,
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Cool.
We need a third.
Can Falco do it?
Hey,
He's probably
take it.
the strongest one out of the rest of us left.
Yep.
Yeah, I can.
Kenny.
The forest.
Yeah, alright.
The horse
We'll
just
get
gets
some
its head
ropes.
underneath. Okay, so what is your strength score still? Syl?
It is 12.
12. And
12.
Davos?
16.
16.
La-di-da.
Look at me. And I'm sure
Look at you,
Falcor
strong.
has a strength that is higher than 2. So you all manage to lift this quite, easily. And as you move it, yes, you see that there's actually a second person that is crushed underneath here as well, as though 2 people have been moving through here and been destroyed as something has collapsed in the roof. You manage to move the slab away and can see that there's a pouch tied to the waist of one of the corpses. One of the others is wearing like a brooch that is made of bronze and green quartz in the shape of a snake. You can see that there is a silver and emerald ring that looks like it's probably worth about 50 gold pieces, and there's a silvery dagger that's made of copper and nickel that is stuck to the left boot of one of the figures. And you can also see that there's what looks like a scroll case, and finally you can see there's a sphere of some kind, like it looks to be crystal, but there is a crack in it, and it looks to be as though it might have been like an arcane focus or something else.
Does it have a frog in it?
This one does not. It looks as though like you see God, Thorax walk across to it, and he picks it up, and he's like, oh, well, there's the problem. the frog got out, and there's like this crack along the edge, and he's like holding it up in the air. You still think that it'd be worth roughly maybe 45 gold.
Nice.
So as you guys get this all together, who's doing what right now?
Well, I'm assuming, Ko, you want to grab the dagger.
I grab the ring.
Yes, please.
And Belle, do you want to take a look at the scroll cases in case you can put them in your book?
Sounds good.
If everyone's cool with it, I might hang on to this spear for now. It looks kind of cool. Like if it was, you said the spear looked like it could have been used as an arcane focus.
Yeah, at some point in time, like before it was cracked, you think that it would have made a very good conduit for like manipulating the weave.
I might hang on to this if everyone's cool with that.
So you've got a wand and an orb now. Just wondering. No, I'm just wondering.
Well,
Is that where everything's...
I'm hanging on to it, but I'm assuming
Yeah,
Thorax
cool.
is going to take the wand.
Yeah, just so we know where everything is.
Yep.
Cool. I'm
Can I
happy
take the
with my
ring?
snake
Anything
heads.
special about the ring?
The ring doesn't look super special. It's definitely like fine quality, like very nicely gilded silver, and then there's a very, very nice looking emerald that is sitting in the center of the, like that's set in the middle of the ring. It looks like some kind of like natural kind of magic has worked the steel, but the ring itself isn't giving off any magical essence as such.
Hey, Sil, do you want the snake brooch? Maybe it's connected to Crazy Lady. Well, probably not, but it might help us research at least.
Yeah. I'll use this for investigating and for showing off my snake heads.
It also might look very dashing on your lapel.
I have a lapel. What is a lapel?
You know, like on a suit, the foldy bit?
Oh, folding it.
It's
I
like
definitely
like a
don't.
giant suit collar. So Sil, as you pick up the brooch, just roll a perception check for me.
That would be 22.
You take a look at it for a moment and realize that yes, the eyes are set in green quartz. It doesn't look like it'd be worth a whole heap, like maybe 20 gold, like not heaps more than that. But as you're looking at the brooch, you can see that rather than scales, like initially it looks like scales, these really like weirdly tendrilled scales. You begin looking closer and closer and realize that each of the scales is just the outline of a human hand, as though there's just hundreds of these hands laid on top of each other across the across the snake shape, to be kind of made as
Really creepy.
as the scales. But they all, even down to the detail of like little like as though someone's taken a tiny little hole punch and created fingernails at the end of each of the hands. Upon further inspection, this is a very macabre piece of jewelry.
Ooh.
I'm
I
creepy,
shudder.
and I think that's creepy.
Yeah, ooh. I just shudder and kind of get. I'm not really creeped out by it, but just like the amount of detail that someone in the session someone put in is sort of unsettling.
Roll
It's not-
roll a religion check for me, Sil.
This is totally my strong suit.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it is actually. What's religion? Oh, that's intelligence. Yeah. 17.
17. So, after Magnus explained a bit of the 1T culture to you and thinking about what this might be, you seeing all of the hands and knowing that 1T use human sacrifice to, either create a pure blood, which is the humanoid, like the most humanoid version of the 1T, or there is some kind of sacrifice involved in going to higher levels of evolution as such within the race. You think that this is definitely a relic that would have been associated with someone at least mildly, I suppose, resembling a priest of some kind in the 1T culture, whether they were purebloods or whether they were higher, like Malisons, which are kind of the guards of the 1T. You're not 100% sure, but there's definitely some significant like tie to the culture.
Okay, well that makes sense. But just to be safe, I wrap it up in a bit of that cloak that had the snake heads.
Yep.
And tuck it away as well. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, cool. So you go
Can I
ahead.
ask, Luke?
Yeah.
The bodies, are they like skeletons or are they still fleshy or?
They seem to be relatively like degraded. There's not much flesh left on them. The flesh that is very dried and kind of like clinging to bones. Just roll a perception check for me.
Uh, 13.
13. Nothing that stands out in any kind of difference to a normal human corpse that you guys are slowly becoming familiar with.
Okay, cool. And this crystal spear, does it look usable, or like if it was used, it's just gonna snap?
Roll an Arcana check.
That is heat, 24.
Yeah, you think trying to use this as a magical conduit would probably result in some pretty terrible magic. Perhaps backfiring, perhaps unknown effects. The fact that it is not completely like sound means that it could have some, issues if you were to use it as a focus.
Do I think it could be repaired?
Yeah, you think that like amending or some kind of like significant, arcanist could probably like repair this relatively well.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll just wander over to Beleaguer now and be like, say anything interesting in that scroll case?
So I have a rummage around, and I am going to do maybe a intelligence check to see if there's anything of interest, or maybe history.
Yeah, so you
Maybe...
do you want to pop the case open to look at what's there, or just is this before you open the case?
I probably want to... I can do maybe like an Arcana before opening it up, just to see if there's anything bad.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then once I open it up, maybe do an investigation.
Sure. So go
About
ahead.
13.
Okay.
Oh,
so
13 and 7, so 20.
20. Okay. There's no sigils on the outside of this scroll case, and as you look at it, there's a very simple like leather strap that holds it closed, and a very rudimentary like hide that creates the scroll case. It may be that this isn't actually arcane, and you open the lid of it and can see inside there is a rolled piece of parchment. And as you unfurl the parchment, it doesn't look like a scroll, it looks like a map. And you can see the local area. It looks as though this has been created in a time where there was a clearing in the area more so than a large swamp. And as you look at the map, you can see there's a very large temple that seems to be depicted in silver. There is a large, like, what would you call it? Like a road that leads up towards the temple, and along the sides there's a whole heap of houses that sit on this road. It looks like it's only a relatively local area, but you can see nearby there is a sketch of a lake that would be in the southeast on the map.
Alright, so I convey this to Magnus since he asked, and then I suggest maybe giving it to someone who probably understands maps a bit better than me, so either probably Falcor. I think Falcor might be of use.
Okay, so yeah, you give the map to Falcor, and we'll go ahead and get him to have a look at that the next time we come back to the game. But in the meantime,
Can I look at the dagger?
yeah, you take a look at it. It looks like it was made. It looks silvery to begin with, but then you see down near the hilt.
Like silvery, as in like Jordan silver?
No, like the metal.
I tried.
But down near the base of it, you can see that this is a very thin patina that is on the dagger, and below it looks as though there's like some kind of like copper nickel kind of alloy that this dagger's been made out of. It definitely looks like it's more ceremonial. Just roll a perception check for me as you're looking at the dagger. 6. You can see near the base of it as well, there's just a shattered emerald. Like very small amounts of the gem are still left, but it looks like as though it has been crushed when the slab has fallen on these people. So you think that the dagger itself, it looks more like ceremonial than it does effective as a weapon. It's probably worth about like 10 gold.
I choose Skelly Hand to flick it away in disappointment.
Cool. So yeah, you just like kind of balance it across like some of the bones in the hand for a minute, like throw the dagger through, and then and it just goes in a random direction in the room.
It takes a long time and a lot of effort, but I do it, and I'm proud.
Yep, you sure are. So, as you all stand in here, you can see that there are 3 other exits or entrances to this room, or from this room. There is one in the southeast, there is one in the west, and one in the northwest. So, what would you like to do?
Should we wait till others? How are people feeling since it's getting 5 to 11?
We can go ahead.
I'd say our characters take a bit of a rest as well.
Maybe that's a decent time to break.
It's a good time to break. So, let's go ahead and join everyone back here next Monday at 8 p.m. for the next installment of the game. To those on Twitch that have followed along tonight, thank you for watching. We've had a heap of fun playing tonight, and it's good to have a large cast again. For those that like what we do here, go ahead and click the follow button on Twitch. That'd really give us a good indication that we're doing something right. Otherwise, get in contact with us and tell us what we're doing wrong, or what you'd like to see more of or less of. You can find us at Facebook. Go ahead and type in www.facebook.com